Wayne Nietzsche, and you're watching the I'm Going to Make a Drug with My Mind show on RCTV channel 15, cable, fancy like.
polka bandwagon. That's a smart move. That's where the money is, man. Pump that polka pile. That's what I say. Yeah. Yeah. Old Time Rock and Roll by Bob Seger. That's a polka song. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna need to write down some of this stuff.
I know all the songs that should be polka songs.
Yeah.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
Ooh.
Meant to be polka from the very beginning.
You know what? Okay, this is scary. Okay, because like okay, Meatloaf. Yeah, was like he came out on Cleveland International, which is a polka record label. That's where we got our Grammy, by the way. We got our Grammy for Polka Sonic on Cleveland International. Cleveland International. Representing, yeah. Steve Popovich on Cleveland International. But he's the guy who broke Meatloaf. So you're saying that you know, Paradise by the Dashboard Light is a polka song?
It is. There's a lot of ties. There's more just classic. It's ready for it. Ready for it. Waiting for it.
Dude, this is kind of...
It's all synchronicity. I was at a state fair yesterday, and that's where the Loaf was playing, Cyndi Lauper. I didn't get to see the Loaf, but I did get to see Charles. Oh yeah. Let me tell you, it was impressive.
Man, I tell you what. That Javier Cugat could pick him, man. Good.
Her face looked plastered on, but the rest of her was doing damn good for 74 or whatever she is.
Right here. Man, yeah.
Let's end it on that, on Charo appreciation.
Coochie to you all.
Coochie, indeed.
Yeah, when you get older, you get more concerned about health. Some of you may occasionally take the killer dope called LSD. Have you ever? I've heard that that sometimes when you take that stuff, at a certain point you become absolutely aware of the fact that you are made of nothing but tubes. You know? And you are. I mean, it's not an illusion. It's not like some hallucination. You are made of tubes. A series of ever smaller tubes, including tubes that hold tiny electrical, reactions that create what we call thoughts, and probably some sort of metaphysical tubes that hold little metaphysical soul cells or something, God isn't finished with me yet. But Bob hasn't even started on you, baby! Anyway, another way to think of when you're starting to just lose it tonight, and you can't stop thinking about the tubes and what you've perverted your own tubes with, and then you start to think about what he said about the diverter, and everything gets weird. Just remember, tubes are also a type of pipe, right? A pipe tube. Can we gainsay the pipe? Bob smokes a pipe. We're all made of pipes. Don't besmirch that pipe. You are made of pipes. That's kind of a too high concept, I guess. It was good at the time. So, what time? Speaking of time, what time is it? I smashed my watch again. No, seriously, what?
9 till 6.
10 of 6. Okay. Okay. Well, this war thing.
Yeah.
I guess is this the first Starwood since that started? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's kind of funny how it seems like it's been going on forever. I pulled out these old, I do a radio show called The Hour of Slack, and for some reason the comedy routines from the early 90s about the evil Bush emperor and the war in the dunes and the spice must flow and all that seemed to fit just as well this year as it did 10 years ago. Strange, and here we are still waiting for 1998. Wonder what that means. Maybe they really did screw with the dates. But, I've gotten, I read, actually, to tell the truth, friends, I avoid the news because I don't want to hear about little kids getting messed up that I can't do anything about. I don't want to hear about earthquakes that I can't do anything about. That's just my personal form of slack. But and those planes hit the building and so forth, and it wasn't that long before I was reading crackpot stuff on the internet about, well, now, how do we know those planes weren't flown by remote control? We don't even know if there was anybody in those planes. We don't know, who was flying them or what was, the evil Bush Empire started that war deliberately, and for all I know, that may all well be true. And for all I know, the CNN version might be true. I really don't know. I do know that there has always been numerous conspiracies of evil bastards. Just that. There's always been conspiracies of evil bastards. That's what they call history, But there's always been more than one. And it becomes scary when you think, what if there really was only one conspiracy of rich bastards? It was great when there were several competing with each other, just using us as pawns. But when one of them finally consolidates it, how the hell would we know? It could be like the Matrix. There's been times when I thought, wait a minute, maybe everything we see on television is 100-year-old home movies shot by the Chinese back when they invented videotape. And they just show us the old stuff. They're all riding rocket cars in Afghanistan. For all we know, you know, that's how paranoid you can get. The trick, though, I think, is to not sound crazy when you talk about it.
Howdy, folks. I'm Sheriff Lucky, and welcome to Sheriff Lucky's Fly-By-Night used car sales. We have the biggest selection of new cars, used cars, old cars, blue cars. Speaking of blue cars, check this Chevy I got right out here. This has a 98 registration on it, top of the line and elite vehicle. This year's a Dodge Ram. Great car. We have Hondas from VT, wherever the hell that's from. I don't know, maybe it's Virgin Territory, who knows. I don't know what the hell this is, but I'll sell it to you dirt cheap. There is no financing involved. All you gotta do, folks, come on down to Sheriff Lucky's, and we will put you in a vehicle. Not a problem. That's right, this is Sheriff Lucky. Just come on down to Sheriff Lucky's Fly-By-Night used cars auto sales. That number is 555-1378. That's right, folks. For you again, that's 555-7892. Call it direct, call it collect, but call it today.
The people who talk about it all the time have a tendency to sound crazy, you know, because they're obsessed, and that's all they can talk about, and it doesn't really help. In fact, it plays into the hands sometimes of whatever real conspiracies there might be. You know, because they're doing just what they want them to do. So your first duty, then, as a good citizen, is to not go crazy, or to learn how to act like you haven't gone crazy. That's maybe the important part. That way, you know, when you're like between, when you're joshing about the game and the babes over beer with Bub at the bar, and you mention this routine about how maybe you know, those buildings went down awfully smoothly. Gosh, it seems like normally the Air Force shoots planes out of the sky the minute they divert from their course. Gee, isn't it funny this and funny that? And, well, and how some of the stuff you read on the web isn't that crazy. Well, Bub might be just a little less likely to turn you into the thought police if you can feather it by trying to sound halfway sane. You know what I'm saying? Now later, when Bub himself clues into the conspiracies, but gets the simple-minded version of it, and runs up to you in the parking lot and grabs you and goes, "Man, did you realize that Americo is building concentration camps behind the mall? We've got to get our shotguns and save our fellow beer-drinking, pot-smoking, working-class fellows from the conspiracy, or die trying to." He'll take you more seriously when you go, "Bub, don't get excited. They won 200 years ago, and you can't fight people who doodle crop circles for practice and can melt buildings with weapons in the sky beyond normal home hobbyist ken. You know, you're lucky to have a job on the outside still, so quiet down, take the shells out of the shotgun, and don't rush into their mousetrap like an idiot. Or a mouse. You know, and I probably shouldn't even be saying that, friends, because, you know, we're on the internet or whatever, and any of us could be revolutionaries of blab and talk shell, kinds of facts and figures, but you're still just preaching to a choir who are basically wearing Target-painted choir robes. And so I have decided, not just for me personally, it seems to me like the nameless mission, whatever it may be in your case, is best done one or two people at a time, privately, like you know what. Don't act like a nut around the wrong nuts is all I'm saying, you know. You just gotta be careful where you spread the truth, because truth can get you in trouble sometimes. I'm lying about that, though. But you know, that's about the most effective thing. A lot of religions will say, we gotta help the world and help our fellow. We must protect the children from this. We must protect the sensitive from that. We must pull the funny dick off the budget rent-a-car thing over there. You know, we've got, because someone might be hurt, we've got to protect everybody else. You know, Jesus Christ, man, it is a nameless mission. The most effective thing you can do is just mind your own business. You know, try to convince people one or two at a time. Don't do what I'm doing. It doesn't pay that well. Personally, I would like every exploited bastard in history, in the thousands of years of human history on whose backs my wealth as an American was built, if they begrudge me any of it, I'd like them to know that I'm enjoying and appreciating the hell out of every minute of it that I can. Because compared to the vast, seething anthill of humanity that preceded us, the untold billions, you know, hell must be filling up fast, friends. Compared to them back in 1 million BC, in our plain little middle-class neighborhoods, we're as rich as any Renaissance king. And the irony of talking about have-nots from my position is not lost on me, but I'm not going to let it get me down that there's people starving all over the world, that I can't immediately do anything about it. I'm only got here a few decades ago, and I am innocent of most of it. Most of it. The conspiracy is real, folks, but it's not necessarily the rich guys that are running everything that we're talking about. The biggest conspiracy, the really bad one, is the one that's inside every single one of God's monkeys. Just as much as it is inside you and me as it is inside George W. Bush's real boss. It's how us third-order chimpanzees, as the aliens might call us, got where we are by being the biggest and meanest of the chimpanzees, you know. There were other humanoid life forms, and our kind seems to have gotten rid of them, unfortunately. Then there are the subgeniuses, yet another life form. But you know, only when we as a race can, like Dr. Moreau before us, root out the devil gene and rationally remake ourselves into overmen and uberwomen, bereft of that cruel chimpanzee nature, and through scientific means force evolve ourselves towards that ideal which we call the Morlocks or the Overman, or else on X Day when they destroyed, when the last vestige of the human has been replaced by the recreated Yeti, then we shall find slack and freedom for all!
You are watching the I'm Going to Make a Drug with My Mind show on Rochester Cable Channel 15. What's the matter? You got a problem with sowing the sweet seed of democracy all over the entire world? You make me sick!
The time has come to do it again! If all the weirdos and lunatics and fringe element and firebrands and everybody else aware enough to deduce that something's horribly wrong would arise and get together and act like free men and women instead of bleating, fearful zombies, then we'd probably start arguing, even more. You know, because it's a good rant, but the weirdos can never agree on it, you know? You sometimes wonder if there isn't some automatic loop in history that wrecks the freedom thing. You know, freedom always leads to too much slack, and then a bunch of chaos arise, and totalitarians take advantage of that to fill the fascism void, and then regimes form, and only struggle will lead again to freedom, and the whole loop starts again. Could this be the problem? I don't know. Friends, we can't even agree on who our enemies are, but we always seem to know when someone right inside our own little circle of wagons isn't towing the line. Isn't that funny? You know, the familiar is always easier to fight than the strange enemy that might be worse. You know, and of course one must police one's own, as they say, and drown the deformed babies, so to speak, lest the tribe become weak. But isn't it more humane than perhaps to just put them out on the ice and let them starve rather than beat them to death in the middle of the village with everybody hooting and hollering? Don't answer that. But you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm saying the same crap that any old wise dumbass says in situations like this. I love, just as much as anybody, I love to say, burn the witch! But, you know, too many of my friends turned out to be witches, and so I try to be more careful about who I point the finger at. You know, at times I've had to find myself defending Christians. Because some subgenius or pagan was, well, Christians do this, Christians do that, and I go, man, not all Christians are the same. There's much, you know, it's like the word pagan. What the hell does that mean? Seriously. You know, there's a zillion denominations. How many people are here standing looking at me? Maybe 200, 250? Well, it's 250 pagan denominations, okay? And so, am I saying that it's wrong to be bigoted? No, not at all. It's just that you can't just be bigoted and mean only. You use that for icing. You must first use accuracy in attacking your enemy, clarity and objective reasoning. Then you can layer on the cruelty and the hate, you know. You must hate individual Christians, individual Republicans, individual liberals, individual commies and Nazis and so forth. The groups, the thems, are nothing but a conspiracy-defined sub-conspiracy to lull and lure certain dumbass subgeniuses into thinking there really is a simple answer. That us versus them thing is, in fact, the very sort of mass fuzzy thinking that the conspiracy invented. There's no us, there's no them, there's only you, me, and everybody else. And then you go, but Reverend Stang, I love hating those alternative conspiracies. Can't we believe and hate any of those? You know, what about the jokers, the deformed, the real outcasts, the transinsexuals, you know? The hideous super geniuses, you know, can't we hate them too? Must we distrust and hate even those weirdos? Like we always used to, Reverend Stang. Can't we just, but friends, really, do we have to muddy up our killing with hate? Can't we just kill them without hating? It's just, you know, but I'll tell you, I guess I should probably get off so that we can all get off.